Hello and welcome to Weavy Office Hours, the official live stream of inclement weather and rainy days in Los Angeles. Uh, as always, myself and our onboarding engineers are here to react in real time to the changes in the weather and also tell you about how to use Weavy and its features. So joining me, as always, the MVP of Office Hours, Mai. Hi, Mai.
Hi, Andy.
How you doing?
Yeah, it's a little doom and gloom today with the rain, but
Yeah,
California needs it, so I shouldn't complain.
no, we desperately need and it's always fun to wander out and watch native Southern Californians try to navigate this weather because they
Yeah,
can't.
anytime there's rain, social media it just blows up with, you know, Californians experiencing rain.
LA earthquake Twitter and LA rain Twitter are very real phenomenon. It's very silly. Um, and while I would love to talk about the weather all day, there we are, of course, here to talk about the most important thing, which is the holidays are coming up. So we got that looking forward to. As we've got the holidays coming up, this will be the last office hours of the year. Apologies for we had to take a brief hiatus the last few weeks for a few different reasons. Uh, Not least of which is everybody took turns getting sick, which was super fun. But we're back for one more, and we're here to talk about React and activity feeds. Would you mind giving us a little bit of background on React?
Um, yeah, React is a framework developed by Facebook. It helps you create single page applications, and it's really simplified that process for developers.
hmm So, will it get us onto the metaverse?
We can hope and pray and cross our fingers and toes.
Okay, because that's got to be our play, right? Like, how does Weavy transition to becoming a full Web3 company in the calendar year 2022? We're gonna be selling NFTs. We're gonna be on the metaverse. We'll be coming to you live from VR all the time. It's a great time. And then so the other thing that we're doing is activity feeds, which is really exciting. We had done a bunch of episodes about chats, and we had done one previous episode about activity feeds. To give you a refresher, activity feeds uh, is really what gets us most excited about at Weavy when it comes to contextual collaboration, because activity feeds allows you to essentially create a conversation and tag other users on individual like objects and items within your web app, which means, for example, in a CRM, if I was on a contact page, and I had Weavy activity feeds, I could essentially like comment on the activities of somebody on the sales team. I could tag our performance marketing manager if we noticed a really good tagline sort of said offhand during a call. And really, the possibilities are endless there. In terms of integrating activity feeds versus integrating chat, what are the differences, if any, when it comes to setting up the server SDK?
There's nothing really in terms of the server SDK because that whole setup is the same for all of our features.
hmm
Uh, but in terms of like getting it on the client side, it's just like a key that you need to change really. So it's not too different. The big thing though is with chat, it lives globally, and you really only have one instance of chat.
hmm
Whereas with activity feeds, you can have multiple instances anywhere.
Sure. How does that affect things performance-wise,
Um,
if at all? I talk to assume I know nothing because when it comes to the technical side of things, you'd be right.
in terms of performance, I don't think there's too big of a difference actually.
hmm
But that's not my specialty, so
Sure, absolutely.
um, yeah.
Great. Well, we're going to play your tutorial. Is there anything folks would need to do or set up before they began?
Yeah, always. There's a before you start, if you follow the tutorial, always do that first to set up the server SDK and the SQL Server and all of that before you start, or this tutorial will not work.
Okay, great. And for the, we'll of course have a link to the tutorial in the description so you can follow along. But without further ado, here's how you can react.
In this video, I will guide you through integrating Weavy activity feeds into a basic React app. If you haven't already, be sure to follow the guide on setting up the Weavy Server SDK. And a few other prerequisites to note. You will need React version 16.8 or higher, and Weavy version 8.2 or higher. Okay, let's get started. Open your Git for Windows. Navigate to where you'd like to create your application. In this video, we are going to create a new React app using npx, but you can also integrate Weavy into an existing app if you'd like. Once the application is created, open it in Visual Studio Code. First, we're going to add the Weavy script. Navigate to public index.html. Copy the script tags from the tutorial and place it in the head section. Replace your server domain with the domain name of your own Weavy server. For me, that's going to be localhost 44323. Next, we are going to create a shared Weavy context. In your source folder, create another folder named Weavy. And in that folder, create a file called weavycontext.js. This is going to hold the shared context. Next, create a file in your Weavy folder named weavy.js. This is going to hold your Weavy instance. Paste the code from the tutorial. Now we are going to create the Weavy app component. Copy and paste the code from the tutorial. First, we define the Weavy space. Then we define the Weavy app. The Weavy instance will be referenced from the consumed context. The space and app are defined from component properties. Lastly, we render a div to hold our Weavy app with the class name Weavy container. Next, create a style sheet to style our container. Weavy apps will automatically size themselves to the container, so we need to set a height property, or else the height on the container will be set to 0. The Weavy instance component is only used as a wrapper. You can put it anywhere in your app, and you can use multiple instances if you like. The important thing is to place the Weavy app component anywhere inside the wrapper. In the app.js, after importing our components, we are able to use it. And don't forget to place your JWT token here. To start your application, open a terminal window. And run yarn start. This will build and launch the dev server, usually on localhost 3000. Great job! You've successfully integrated activity feeds into a React application. In this,
I'm doing great. There we go. That's the right one. Okay, hello, we are back. Thank you, Maya, for that tutorial. So yeah, it seems like a pretty straightforward process. I think, honestly, I don't know that I have any questions, having literally just watched it. Um, so I think I'm gonna call it because, you know, it's the most wonderful time of the year, and we should enjoy this beautiful weather that we have in Southern California and around the world. Thank you for joining me, Mai.
thank you, Andy, for
Um,
being here as well, and for being a gracious host.
oh, always. It's the Midwest in me. To everyone out there in the world, have a convivial end of the year. Celebrate whatever it is that you like to celebrate. And if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can always email us. Our emails are our first names at weavy.com. That's WEAVY.com. I am Andy, ANDY. Joining me is Mai. Uh, and of course, if you have any recipes, fitness tips, thoughts about the upcoming Spider-Man movie, thoughts about the Matrix sequels, the original two Matrix sequels, you can email Dave, Dave, at weavy.com. He is always happy to hear all of your thoughts and opinions. That is Dave at weavy.com. Shouts to Dave, our other onboarding engineer, who is so busy. Um, and so he misses this so much. And so it really means so much when you guys send out all those important recipes and thoughts on the Matrix sequels, good and bad. Um, so that's it for us. Thank you so much for joining. And we'll see you on the other
Bye.
side.